So this is the debrief for the second detective trial in the state of Hawaii. We reused the search area, so I'm going to explain what I did, because when you have to reuse a search area, you have to make sure that you don't flood it with odor in the first trial before the second trial. So the reason I only did 6 hides in the first trial is so that there wasn't a bunch of odor for the second one. It's extremely hot here. It's very, very humid. There's a slight breeze, which is lovely, but it goes and then it just becomes really hot again. So out of the 7 dogs, we had 4 pass rates, which was really, really lovely. And I was very excited about it. So we had the start line. I purposely set it way back so that they were actively searching when they got into the garage. And again, trying to make it so that it flowed for the dogs. And in fact, this search did better than the one earlier. So in this search, we had 8 hides and it worked beautifully. So the first hide is a real hide down on here. The dogs came in, they worked it back from the plastic things because that's going to absorb the odor a little bit, but the handlers just held their ground and they came back and hit that really nicely. It was very good. And then there's a lot of stuff in here, and there's a lot of refrigeration devices, so I was a little worried that it was going to cause some issues, but it didn't. There's a big freezer there and a fridge there and all this stuff. We had a second hide here on the stool, and again the dogs came in. They either hit that one first or this one, but then they stayed in here long enough to go back to get the other one, and then they just ruled it out. There's a lot of paint cans and stuff in the back there that they just ignored and went on. So this was the first bit, and then we had this laundry room, which was really just a corridor all the way through here, and then the bathroom was all in play, but there was no hides in here. So the third hide is a little hinge hide here, and funnily enough, a lot of the dogs drove through. I was hoping that they would come here and just bam, hit it. 2 dogs did that, the others didn't. They came flying in and out to the pool, but then they worked back to it later on in the search. So that was hide 3, and then we had a 4th hide underneath this basketball hoop. They're all pretty low, it's hot. Down here, nothing over there. I think some of the handlers recognised that there was a toy distractor there, so they ignored that area because they know that there can't be a hide near a toy. Very impressive. I was happy about that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we had a hide here on this table. We had a couple of dogs miss it. Again, this overhang is affecting the odour, but I don't think that was what it was. I think it was just that they just blew past it, and then the handlers just went on, and they made a choice to just not work it again. I think there's a little breeze now, so quite honestly, it would behoove them to come back and work back again, but some of them didn't do that. But only 3 people missed it, so it's brilliant. So that's 5, 6. I don't normally set these, but it worked really well. So
yeah, they all got it.
The hide under the trash can, as anybody knows, I hate trash can hides, but actually it was a really nice transition into this room, so it worked. So I won't say never again. It's the dogs taught me a lesson today. And then we went into this room, which was blank this morning, so I wanted the handlers to learn. Don't forget, we're in Hawaii. They don't get a lot of lessons, and they certainly don't get a lot of trials. I wanted them to see what the difference was with a blank room, and then this afternoon, the dogs just charged in here, because it's like, whoa, thank God there's odor. So there was a hide here under the piano stool, and then there was a hide here under the cabinet. And they all worked really well. We had no falses in here whatsoever. The dogs really reacted to having odor in here. They're converging. In fact, the point of convergence on the videos that they had was like here, and then they'd go, oh no, and then they would work it out. So really, really lovely, super fun, really nice end to the day. 4 out of 7 is pretty great.